Hello there. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Happy coming back together after a week of intense energy. And I thought I'd walk us through it and sort of get a perspective of what you might be experiencing, what I've been experiencing, what's been going on. Okay. So, first and foremost, and I'm going to use my notes and you're going to laugh. I wrote, there's so much I needed to talk about, but they're small and I don't want to wear my glasses because I can't see the screen. So, it's going to be funny. So, hello. I've got glitches going on, so please bear with me. Technical difficulties seem to be part of this phase. Okay, so first and foremost, since January 1st, 2024, we've had 0 days without a solar flare. There are years where there's been zeros. Even in 2021, there were zeros, right? But no, 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 no. So we've had just to give you an update since last Sunday when we got together and did their last video, right? We've had consistent high C solar flares. We've had M1s, 2s, and it bumped up to an M5. We had one X flare, which was an X1.11, which I thought was interesting. And so I pulled all of the aces to talk about today, and we'll go through that. And we had 36 CMEs that were since the 13th. And these sort of started these geomagnetic storms. And so, what a geomagnetic storm looks like is this may be what the atmosphere looks like when there's just energy from the sun going on. Then it hits this point where it starts to bump, and then it goes all the way up into a high KP index of a 5 or a 6 or a 7, or it goes from G1 to G2, G3. And the thing is that we've had a small amount of flares, 2 or 3 a day, a couple of days with some more. Yet we've had these enormous geomagnetic storms. Now they're invisible. They're hard to track. Not a lot of people talk about them, and they affect us, right? They're a means for us to do our energetic sort of shifting. It's cellular. It affects our DNA. It goes after all of it. And so you might have felt it in your crown. You might have felt it in your third eye. You might have felt it in heart palpitations. There's a lot of things going on with these geomagnetic storms, right? So Alu Lokostova. She did symptoms, and Pam Youngins put them on her Facebook. And these are the symptoms for the geomagnetic storms. They're a little bit different than the solar flares. That's why I wanted to put them down, because we're sort of experiencing a couple of things here, right? So the traditional headaches, right? There's sleep disorders, lack of sleep or restlessness, right? There's tingling in the nervous systems, maybe at the tips of your fingers, of your toes. High energy. I could feel like I was like there's a minor charge going through my body for 3 days where it felt like something's activated, and I had to take a lot of salt baths to try to neutralize that out, right? Irritable moods. Let's see, what else do we have? Chaos, losing things, like you don't know where you put them, or you put them there and then you come back and they're not where they're supposed to be, and it feels like, I'm going to say, it feels like there's timeline jumping, that you're here and you're operating here, and then you come in here and it's similar but not the same, and then you go back and forth like this. That's just me, right? Distortion of time. Sometimes time's going faster, time's going slower, right? An increase in paranormal activity. Paranormal, like you might be hearing voices, you might see movement, your clairs are picking up on a lot more energy because things are taking form through these energetic surges, right? The Mandela effect. You know, we are being subjected to the Mandela effect constantly by changing brand names, changing colors. She's saying, we didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about. And we're catching it. And we're like, well, wait a minute. And then we don't know what to do with that, right? And there's malfunction of technology. Makes sense. So these flares are bringing in a whole flares, these storms are bringing in a whole bunch of intense energy that's very different. And it's paired with a minor solar flare, but a huge planetary huge planetary week. So all of the major players, and I printed off Anne Stoke. He said, what's happening is that Uranus, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto are all crisscrossing and involved in pulling on things throughout the week. So, we think we're doing okay by Tuesday, and then Wednesday something starts again, and then there's a storm on top of that, and then we float, and then Thursday is the X flare, and then Friday, and we're just in this constant state of having something activate us, right? So we have Mercury in retrograde. We have Jupiter and Saturn who are coming into a square, and the two of them. So Saturn's going to say, how are you doing? Right? Parental. How are you doing? What do you need to work on in your, and Jupiter's going to expand that, right? So what I was noticing is that this is a lot like a tower moment. And I love the way that this tower is presented in the Light Seers card, because it's like information coming in from above, yet it is igniting the elementals and the animals and the cellular parts of the trees and everything, right? And so when that happens, a couple of things. We want to curl in and we want to rest, right? And we'll talk about that later. We also are going to walk away emotionally. We're just going to put things down and we're going to leave. We're like, I can see something else I need to go towards. This is too hard. It's no longer holding my energy, my space, right? I also love this Nine of Wands where she's standing with a torch at the fence, looking and going, I wonder what's over there, and I'm ready to head that way, right? So these are kind of the energies of what's starting to happen, because when Jupiter and Saturn come together, it's a turn of fate. It's when it's time to figure out who you want to be and what's important to you. Add to that, Zaza just put like fire bursts all over the comments. Thank you for that, Zaza. That just makes me smile. On top of that, tomorrow we have the Aquarius full moon, right? On Monday, which is unexpected insights that will challenge our comfort zones. So again, going to Ange, he says the full moon in Aquarius on the 19th of August, 2024 culminates into a profound moment of personal reflection, relationship tension, potential global unrest, casting a stark light on the seismic shifts occurring both within the collective psyche and the structures that govern our world. And I'm like, yeah. So we have all of this stuff going on from a lot of different sources. So how are you doing? How is it holding you? Because this is a cranky full moon. This is a cranky one because we have so many other things going on, and it's big and it's going to expand us. So let's break it all down, right? So we're being challenged, absolutely challenged on we're being challenged, we're being activated. And I love, a friend of mine just said, I'm completely destroyed. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good word, destroyed. Like everything I know in work with in my life is up for review, is being spread out, cast aside. I'm cleaning, deep cleaning on such a profound level, right? So our old coping skills are not working. The things that we used to do that we could just go through life are just not working. We're feeling out of sync and out of sorts. I've decided over this week that I'm going to stop coaching. I'm retiring as a coach. It seems like it's a system that doesn't work for me anymore. And I'm expanding my tarot, because tarot is so much more fun, so much more energetic, so much more pleasurable to me than coaching. And it's not saying that I didn't like my coaching. It's that the energy is going towards the cards. Of course, you see me using them every week. I love working with tarot cards. I love doing tarot readings. Hint, hint. Okay. And we are getting tremendous insights and surges of information that are dropping in, right? We're a mess. And all of the old approaches that we took are being shown to us. Now, I want to talk about that being shown to us. What does that really mean? So, the example I would use for today is that a beautiful soul, I advertised that I needed a car and it needed to be either borrowed or cheap because I lost my car way ahead of my financial plan, right? And this beautiful soul gave me a car. It runs really well. It's got a great engine. I had to put some new tires on it and I had to do a deep clean on the interior because she had some young kids and it was a mess, right? Let's just say it was a mess. So I decided I love to do detail work. I love to detail cars. So I can do this. And so I spent the last week anywhere between 4 and 6 hours a day. I think I've put a total of 28 hours into this car so far. Um, Deep cleaning the carpets, the upholstery, scrubbing, removing stains and cleaning the vinyl, the seat belts, it's just the interior, right? Every single part. I took the seats out. I took the seat belts off. I've done everything, right? And, it gave me a focus. It gave me some place to put. But I noticed that there's this self-talk. And my approach was kind of not working for me the way I wanted to and working better than I thought it would. So let me explain. I was enthusiastic. I was challenged. Some of the nuts and bolts were really hard for me to do by myself. I had a hard time lifting the seats in and out. Yet I was stubborn, like I'm going to do this. I'm not going to ask for help. I noticed how deep my perfectionism was, right? My perfectionism, like that's good enough. No, if I don't get it all the way down to its original form, then it's not okay. That was something that sort of surprised me. And this internal self-talk, like, why did you take this car? This is more work than you thought about it. What were you thinking? Oh, poor me. I didn't have the resources to buy a new car right now. So now I'm doing this. I mean, like the system in my head was all over the place. The self-talk was not kind at times. And it was all over the place, right? Mood swings. Tired, exhausted, cranky, happy, ecstatic. I stayed on task until I hurt. So I have really tense fingers from all of the little minutia, the scrubbing, the wearing gloves, the chemicals, everything, until I hurt. I thought that was interesting that I wasn't listening to my body for some of those days, right? And I was fixated on it. And unrelenting and often forgetting, like, oh wow, I should probably put some food in my body. I was also grateful and appreciative and self-acknowledging, like, wow, look what you just did. I'd sit back and go, oh, look at that seat now. So I had this push pull, push pull, push pull. And I was also kind and playful to myself, which I thought was sort of an interesting new way to do it too. So both extremes in realizing that like Ange Stoic said, it's everything's up for review. Everything's being crumbling. And what is it that I'm doing that's working? And what is it that I'm doing that's not? And to my credit, I stayed hydrated. I took my magnesium, wasn't drinking any alcohol. I was eating healthy foods and I was sleeping. I was exhausted at night, so I was sleeping. And it seemed to help me ride through the geomagnetic storms in a much better way, because I also, when I wasn't working, was doing tarot readings and conversations with clients, existing clients and colleagues, and explaining what is it that these magnetic storms, geomagnetic storms, are actually doing to our body, right? So remember, we are in it. We are in it. We are here now for this. It's almost like this is what we came here to do, is to figure out how to harness our body. I like this one first. How to take our body and really navigate through all the chaos and do it by ourselves, knowing it's our system, our cellular body, our focus, and to celebrate this, right? So these are the kind of ways that I'm using the cards. And if you feel inclined to support me in my car project, support me in life, and support yourself, of course, by spreading cards out and getting insights as to what can help you with all of this, then by all means, let me know, because we are at a new beginnings. We have, where did the physical one go? It just fell. You can't find it. It's so interesting. We are having our pineal glands just awakened, right? Blown off the charts. We are having our heart intelligence awakened. We are picking up on information from the energy, and it's giving us direction and insight and clues. And boy, that's really too bad. I can't find the card. She disappeared. I guess she doesn't want to talk right now. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles, which is a woman who's sitting very confidently in the world and knowing she's doing okay. All right, so I have 5 tips for you. Okay, so the first one is to acknowledge your patterns, that your patterns are up. Just acknowledge it, because your your age-old techniques to navigate the way that you survived is being challenged. It's being challenged on so many levels, because some of us are learning, some of us are trying some new things on, some of us are pushing old things that don't work anymore, and we're closing the gaps between how we were raised and what works now. Because it's like we were doing really well. This is what I was raised with. This is what I know how to do. And then all of a sudden, this one started to go here, and this gap got pretty big. So what we want to do is we want to acknowledge that our patterns here need to change and adapt and go where the energy, follow the energy, go where the energy is taking you. Because number 2, so the first thing is acknowledge that your patterns are up, and don't be hard on yourself. Just go like, oh, this is what I learned how to do. Now I'm going to try it a different way. 2, we're in a frequency shift. Our cells are leading us through this. We will adjust from the inside out. So you want to follow them. You want to nurture them. So you want to give your body and your cells lots of water so that they have some fluid and some movement and something to sustain them. You want to use magnesium because it alleviates and reduces the nervous reactions and the symptoms. And I like that there's magnesium conversation going on in the chat over here on the side. We do calming activities, whether it's walking out in nature, yoga, meditation, knitting, playing cards, whatever you can do that sort of calms you down and keeps your system free from more chaos. Limit caffeine, of course. I've ruled out alcohol completely because it has been messing with me during this cellular upgrade. Do gentle daily exercise so you can create cellular muscular flow and expansion. Rest and take breaks, because basically what we want to do is we want to start that self-talk of, so how are you doing? How are you actually doing? And what do you need right now? Because that's the way that we sort of nurture our inner child, right? So number 2 is that to recognize that we're in the middle of a frequency shift and to make some adaptations and to keep supporting that. Number 3, manage your self-talk. I learned this week with the car, which is, am I talking to myself in a gentle, nurturing way and making it easy for growth and evolution, or am I being really critical? So check in. You can ask your body, how are you feeling? Do you want to stop now? What do we need to do? Do we need food? Do we need water? Do we need more supplements? And start to talk. I use the yes, no's, and this is where my intuition and my body are working really well, because we want to also reduce things that take us away from calming thoughts, calming breath, calming internal dialogue. Does that make sense? Yeah. So manage your self-talk is number 3. Number 4, avoid at all costs destructive people, places, and things. and situations of drama. So it might be violent movies, violent images, it might be the news, it might be people that are gossipy or mean, because it's our job to navigate our future self right now, right? It's our job. So, get away from the destructive stuff, the stuff that makes it harder for you to do this job as we're here now navigating through all of this. Makes sense. Okay, number 5, last one. Compassion, because everything is changing. Everything is changing. We're changing, and the other person next to us, the spouse, the children, the boss, the colleague, the coworkers, the people on the highway next to you, the people in the grocery store, your friends, everybody is changing, and we're addressing this in our own way. So don't point your finger out and go, "If look what they're doing, if only they would." Just go like, what do I need right now? How do I have compassion for myself? And how do I have compassion for anybody who's going through this at the same time, like each of you? Because it's crazy. We don't know what we're doing. And we need to be able to stay balanced and centered in who we are as we move forward. So if I can help at all by offering clarity, just let me know. I'm going to put a link down in the description so you can get a hold of me and book a tarot session. Okay. That said, have a fabulous full moon tomorrow. Go out and watch it. Go out and own it and talk to it and say, boy, you're cranky. How do I work with you? And have fun with it. I'll talk to you next week. Hang in there.